I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
I'm happy to be here today. Fuck you.
Come on, you want me to drive? No, you're supposed to be suicidal, remember?
I'll anybody
drive.
a drive.
Let's get in the car.
Fuck shit! Fuck me in the fucking ass! Fuck you fucking stupid cunt!
Alright. Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and today is Remembrance Day, so I'm here with a review for a war movie. And the war movie we're going to be reviewing for Remembrance Day this year is easily one that is easily my favorite film of the genre. For somebody who's not too big on the war movie genre, well, there are some exceptions that are actually good, like there's Platoon I like, there's Warfare this year I like. What else can I think of that was also good? Fury was also pretty good. Another film I could think of, what else was there? And now this one we're talking about was great. Today we're going to be talking about 1998's Saving Private Ryan from Steven Spieldberg. Yes, Steven Spielberg has directed quite a number of war films. He's directed Schindler's List, this movie, and even produced a few of them. Produced Flags of Our Fathers with Clint Eastwood. So yeah, he's not just a cheerful film director. He's also done some really depressing, bleak war films like this and Schindler's List. Man, you can see, and I really liked what he went with this film. I really loved how he made it very realistic, but we'll talk about that stuff later. What's the plot of Saving Private Ryan? So, after the invasion of Fortress Europe on June 6, 1944, Captain Miller leads a squad from the 2nd Ranger Battalion and the 29th Infantry Division on a mission to find and bring home Private James Francis Ryan after the death of his brothers. The mission takes him from Nazi-occupied territory to establish contact with Ryan's unit, an element of the 101st Airborne Division. This exciting war thriller brings the reality of history's bloodiest war to the homes of ordinary people and brings to light the reality of broken and lost families in a time of total and encompassing war. So, as for my reaction to Warfare, knowing I needed a war movie to review for Remembrance Day, I knew I definitely decided I was going to pick my favorite one of the genre. Goes to Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan from start to finish, guys, is easily such a great, amazing movie. It's easily one of Spielberg's best films. It really captures the horror of the world what the veterans went through in World War perfectly well, and the great direction from Steven Spielberg and the great score from John Williams. This is easily one of Spielberg's best films, and I think of the two most well-known war films he's done, I think this one's the best. Some people could say Schindler's List is the best one, but personally, for me, it's this one. Schindler's List, I could see why it's acclaimed by people, but at the same time, it's not a movie Schindler's List I just couldn't really get into. Not because it's bad, because it's not bad. It's actually a great film. It's well directed as well. And I like how very realistic and very gritty it is with the subject matter it's touching up on. The problem I can't get into it is because of that. It's because it's just unsettling. It is tough to watch start to finish for the whole 3 hours. Yeah, it's just not a film I can really get through. But this one is not really any more lighthearted, but this one I can get through fine because it's perfect and stuff. Like, it's just very terrifically told. It's so terrifically acted. It's so terrific. It really sticks with you. So how was this film made? Well, it's inspired by the books of Stephen E. Ambrose and counts in multiple soldiers in a single family, like the Nolan brothers being killed in action. Roller drafted the script, and Paramount Pictures hired him to finish writing it. The project came to the attention of Hicks and Spieldberg, whose involvement, due to their previous successes, secure the project's development, and Spielberg wanted to make Saving Private Ryan as authentic as possible, and hired writers like Scott Frank and Frank Darabont to do uncredited rewrites based on research and interviews with veterans. The main cast went through a week-long boot camp to help them understand the soldiers' experience. Filming took place from June to September 1997, had a $65 to $70 million budget, entirely shot on location in England and Ireland, and the Omaha Beach battle that starts off the film, one of the most well-known scenes of the film, was pretty much the most demanding scene of the movie. That scene cost like $12 million to film over a 4-week period and used over 1,500 background actors. Then, after the film was officially shot and completed, Saving Private Ryan would be immediately released to the public in cinemas in the USA on July 24th, 1998, through Paramount and DreamWorks. Saving Private Ryan became one of 1998's most successful films. It got critical acclaim for the graphic portrayal of combat, for good reason. There's good reason the portrayal was actually graphic. Spielberg wanted it to be very realistic, and he did a great job with that. World War II veterans even describe the combat scenes as very realistic, as a realistic portrayal they've seen in a movie that portrays World War II. Some even say to the point where they're just unable to watch the film because of how traumatic it was for them and how it made them relive all the horrors they went through. And it made over a big profit at the box office. It made over $481 million worldwide, and it became the second highest grossing film in 1998 by an Armageddon, and won many accolades, including Golden Globe, Academy Awards, BFTA, and SAG Awards. As you can see right here, it got Best Director for Steven Spielberg. I think this got Best Picture too. And it's considered one of the greatest war films ever made. The old battle scene filming techniques really impacted many war, action, superhero films, and many directors cited Saving Private Ryan as an influence to them. The picture is credited with having helped renew interest in World War II at the turn of the century and inspired other films and television shows and video games set during the war. In 2014, the National Film Registry selected it for preservation by the Library of Congress. So, what makes Saving Private Ryan so great? Well, we're going to be talking about all the good qualities in the story of the movie, and why it's such a great masterpiece. This film gives a million reasons why nobody should go to war, and it's one very powerful reason to go to war. It's very soul-numbingly realistic. It's really a depiction of what just about everybody's relatives or grand-relatives or uncles or brothers who had to be enrolled in wars had faced in humanity's darkest moments back in the 1940s. Not just in World War II, but in any war. No one can really see this movie without really being altered of the memories they went through or what they've learned about. Easily, the surround sound really, even no matter where you watch it, even it really puts the audience in the middle of the battle, or even puts the viewer in the middle of the battle. Steven Spielberg has directed many great films. Directed either E.T. or the Indiana Jones films, or I was going to think of, or even produced a few great stuff, or etc. Lots of stuff. He really outdid himself and effectively held up this whole mirror to civilization for events, and rather than really applaud the movie for its real life depictions. Right there, it's not over glamorized, it's not over Hollywoodized, no. This actually shows the horrors of everything. It shows that war isn't always glamorous, and there's good reason why Spielberg won Best Director for this work on this film, and the film went on to win 4 other awards. It's gritty and bloody, not for exciting reasons, for actually very intense reasons, and it shows that wars aren't won by weapons but by soldiers. The cast really shines as a group of soldiers tasked with finding Private Ryan, played by Matt Damon. Along the way, they encounter the harsh truth and real meaning of war, and it boasts impressive battle sequences and the cinematography that's so stylish and makes the film really beautiful. And the opening the opening beach sequence is like easily one of the greatest opening scenes in films, and also one of the bloodiest opening scenes in films. Like yeah, this film is also one of Spielberg's goriest films yet. Tom Hanks is also phenomenal as the commander. Has no idea about the harsh truth of war. Like the whole cast is outstanding as well. Just everyone in this movie does so terrific with their roles. The visuals are outstanding as well. Like there's not too many grays or bays or that really look that good. Like the perfect colors, like for the bombed out city where they end up in the middle of the film, and where the last hour takes place. It's perfect for all the faces and uniforms of the soldiers of those days, from machinery, smoke-filled skies. Like each character gives a stunning performance with each actor that plays a role. Whether it's Tom Hanks playing the main character of the film, whether it's Matt Damon playing Private Ryan, a soldier they have to go rescue. Each character gives a stunning performance. It's simply amazing. So how do we start off the film? So we start off the movie with the elderly Ryan and his family. They're at this grave. When they get to the grave, Ryan immediately breaks down and is comforted by his family. And then he has a flashback to everything that happened, what he went through, and what the people that rescued him went through as he thinks about them. So we get to 1944, around the time World War II is coming to an end. The U.S. Army lands at Omaha Beach as part of the invasion, and then major losses against the artillery and machine gun fire of the heavily German forces. And right there, like, this is one of the goriest ways to start off the film. You see, they actually show you the soldiers, like, being shot at or really dismembered. Like, Spielberg does not shy away from any of the horrors. And dazed by the chaotic battle, John H. Miller, played by Tom Hanks, takes command of a surviving group and leads a successful infiltration by German lines to secure victory. Like, yeah, it's the most violent film Spielberg ever made. Like, it's unflinching the portrayal of the horrors. Like, it's not any more lighthearted than Schindler's List. And of course, like, it's still an incredible portrayal. Like, this almost, like, 3-hour film that's about 170 minutes long is really riveting from start to finish. Especially with the memorable beginning action scene and one of the most dramatic scenes in the history of film. Like, as some great as these action scenes are, these action scenes are also like really depressing to also watch, because you really can feel the horrors of those days. Like, Tom Hanks and his men really discuss various scenes when they're looking for Private Ryan, and those scenes are also very fascinating as well. Hanks is really superb here, and really shows another great performance from him, and like his chemistry with the whole soldiers he recruits are also very great as well. Right there's no cheesy or corny dialogue. Like, there's actually like real soldiers on an actually deadly mission, and they're pretty much getting picked off quite a bit, trying to go rescue Ryan from a lot of really dangerous, like, war-bombed cities. And the most memorable and powerful moment among us all is, like, really the shot early on of, like, Ryan's mother sinking to her knees on her front porch because she gets disastrous news that some of her sons are dead, and things like Ryan is also dead as well. Getting disastrous news from the war, and, like, that's such a heartbreaking shot. It's like, there's a lot of scenes of heartbreak where you feel for all the characters, not just the soldiers, but also plenty of the other residents as well. And then, of course, John MacArthur then reads this letter by Abraham Lincoln that's beautifully written at some point in the film. It even gets quoted near the end of the film, too. Like, a lot of these scenes are very entertaining to watch with a certain sadness to it, and the moments of reflections is also very good, too. You hear their thoughts about the enemy, the soldiers, and the war itself. There. When it comes to the other performances, like, Matt Damon also does a great performance, and Edward Burns as well, Tom Sizemore as well, all of them do great. And there's a good cameo performance from, like, Ted Danson as well. So, after our opening scene, the United States Department of War receives communication that 3 of 4 Ryan brothers were killed in action. The last one, James Francis Ryan, is listed as missing. So, General George C. Marshall orders Ryan be found and sent home to spare his family the loss of all its sons. So, John Miller gets tasked with recovering Ryan and assembles a detachment of soldiers to accompany him. He assembles Mike Horvath, Richard Rabin, Adrian Caparzo, Stanley Mellish, Daniel Jackson, a medic named Irwin Wade, and an interpreter named Timothy Upham, who kind of lacks combat experience. Once they're all assembled, they go to the town of Neuville-la-Plaine, where Caparzo is killed by the sniper trying to rescue a young girl. And that bit, though, John Miller's kind of a little mad at one of the soldiers for trying to take the girl without her family's consent. But then after Caparzo is killed, they mourn their friend, and then they pretty much grow resentful of being forced to risk their lives for one man. Then they find James Frederick Ryan. At first, they think he is the Ryan. At first, they think he's the Ryan they're supposed to be looking for. But then it turns out, though, he ends up being the wrong man with a similar name. That's the thing. Like, this scene may seem funny, but this scene is actually kind of more tense because it makes the mission more tense. You know, many people could have this guy's same name, so this guy could be anybody. They figure out it's the wrong guy because apparently this Ryan just wrote to his brothers, and so they realize they got the wrong guy, and so these things get worse right here. Like, it shows this is not going to be easy. So later on, they go to a chapel, and there's this really great scene and very heartbreaking scene where Miller tells Horvath that he was pretty much uncontrollably shaking his hands after he joined the war. And so you actually kind of feel for John Miller because he's really starting to suffer PSD from this whole thing. And so the men go to this rallying point where this airborne might be lying off course, and they find a bunch of wounded and dispatched soldiers. And then Wade admonishes Raven, Melch, and Jackson for searching through a pile of deceased soldiers' dog tags in front of passing troops, thinking that they would find Ryans among them and conclude their mission. Like, these three, like, really want to get out of this quick. Right there, like, these three don't really want to do this mission, and John Miller does not like their cowardice, and rightfully does reprimand them so. Right there, because the thing is, like, finding a name tag's not going to conclude their mission at all. But this makes them suddenly feel bad, although John Miller does feel bad for this, though, but he does shout for anyone that knows Ryan. And then one soldier tells him that Ryan got reassigned to defend this bridge in the town of Rommel. So, it does lead to a bit of hope right there. And, like, you can tell the soldiers do kind of, like, feel bad for kind of their cowardice, and they do kind of start to shaping up a little bit more as the film progresses. And so, other actors that also are in the film, like, you have Vin Diesel making a brief appearance, Jeremy Davies, you got Giovanni Ribisi, who later went on to appear in the Avatar films and the Ted films, and ironically, Vin Diesel making a brief appearance, like, the guy who voice acted there, a giant, would later become a big house name by joining the Fast and Furious franchise, or the Guardians of the Galaxy films. And John Williams providing a powerful score, whether it's the opening scene, whether it's the end of the film. He always works very well with Steven Spieldberg, providing such a powerful score for all his films. And I think this film would easily have to be their best collaboration yet, along with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Spielberg really succeeds in getting inside the viewer's head by really immersing the viewer, especially us. The structure of time-lapse glacier of the chaos in this 2.5-hour free-fall rush to the little, like, perfect little throwback, and, like, putting us in the whole world of the whole World War, the final days of it. Ryan really steers the hell of war like no other war movie before or ever since then. Like, no other war movies come close to this at all. So watching this is a very good exercise in all this kind of pleasure, and really, like, reliving and actually getting to see what the horrors all our veterans went through. The cinematography is very gritty and raw. It puts you right in the middle of the battle. Like, the film is very deeply emotional. It's a human story about brotherhood, the cost of war, and rescuing someone from not meeting the same fate as relatives went through. And almost sacrificing their own lives or risking their own lives to do so. It's a gripping, respectful tribute to the soldiers who fought on that day. You also have, like, another good thing is, like, you have the balance between the edge of your seat action, the heart-wrenching character development, especially from John Miller, who is basically willing to go for all this horror to just go save Ryan's life. Especially if some of these soldiers don't really want to, but John Miller doesn't really cave into their demands, and he still keeps up with the mission because he knows he's got to save him before he meets the fate of his 3 brothers. Like, these were characters I was invested in. Their stories, their friendships were perfect. And they got forged like heck. John Miller even lets the inexperienced guy come to him, and he doesn't even get annoyed with whenever he starts dropping stuff. Like, he actually lets him tag along. So that's one of the other likable things about this John Miller character. And that guy's entrance, and that inexperienced guy's entrance is actually is kind of funny. Like, whenever he's like accidentally brought his typewriter and he's dropping it when he's interviewed. Spielberg really nails it. It showing the devastating emotional toll that war can take on any human being. With the chaotic and disorienting camera work, and it really mirrors the confusion and terror on the battlefield. And the sound is perfect, even on the TV. Even watching this on VHS, the sound was amazing. So on their way, Miller neutralizes his German gun nest to discover, which his men are against him doing, but this ends up getting Wade killed. And so the men decide they're going to execute the surrendered German soldier revenge for Wade's death, but Upham intercedes on the idea because it's not the rules of war and they need to follow it. So Miller releases the soldier, who's nicknamed Steamboat Willie, based off the Mickey Mouse cartoon. Orders that he surrenders to the next patrol. So Reben is then disconnected with the mission, and he's threatening to desert the whole gang. This leads to a standoff between the men that Miller diffuses by pretty much revealing his background, that he was a background teacher and baseball coach, and he always refused to disclose anything. And Miller then states that people often guess his career before he became a soldier, his men could not, and that the war really changed him. And like, Miller is actually worried that his wife's not going to recognize him after the war. And that was another thing. Whenever anybody who survived came back, they were never the same again. It really damaged them. Like, some of these people were probably like cheerful, normal people with lives, and then when they got enrolled into this, like, they just came back damaged, and like, from everything they went through, either losing a part of themselves, both physically and emotionally. That's one of the things, like, what John Miller's worried about is what some people did go through. Right there, he was a guy with a normal life, and then he ended up becoming a soldier, and his men could not. It's like, losing all those men really changed and damaged him at this point, and he's worried his wife's not really going to remember him. This film was a perfect gift to the viewers. It explains why the message is important. Spielberg didn't really do just cinema justice, but did history when he released this film back in 1998. He spared no expense, nor detail, and brought this masterpiece alive very well. It's not over cliche, it's not over glorified, it doesn't have over fake emotion. Like, John Williams' really score drives the humanity through every scene. It transitions to the next sequence of events, and Spielberg really guides the actress's performance with precision to deliver unforgettable, hairy moments throughout. The physical and moral struggles that soldiers endure during war are conveyed exceptionally well in the film. Characters really make morally ambiguous decisions that blur lines between right and wrong. It's debatable whether the premise of the story is right or wrong. It explores the effect it has on each soldier in the film. Like, these are mature, thought-provoking themes that go a lot deeper than some other war movies really do. Because Spielberg really did the research. Spielberg really did all the effort. He merely put a lot of effort and heart into this movie. He wanted it to be very realistic as possible, and it worked well. That's the thing. Like, this is one of the war films that really does work beautifully. When you get the right director who really does the research, you can actually pull off a great film like this. It really looks, it feels, it sounds, and it moves perfect from start to finish. Like, it's definitely a masterpiece for all those reasons in every way possible. Listen, those stars really give as good a performance as big-name actors, and with the terrific writing from Spielberg. And the personal storyline really weaves effortlessly with the drama of the war. And the whole thing is written beautifully well. So, now we get on with the finale. So, Miller and his team get to Rommel, and they find Ryan, and they inform him of their mission. When Ryan learns of his brother's deaths, he doesn't really break down crying, to be fair. Because, well, He's already been through a lot of stuff in war, has lost quite a few teammates. So I think he's kind of just numb from emotion by this point. But Ryan doesn't want to abandon his post or his fellow soldiers because he thinks he doesn't deserve to go home more than anyone else does. That's why he doesn't really want to go back, because he feels he doesn't really deserve to be sent back home. More than some of the other soldiers that he probably lost on his mission, or any of his 3 brothers. But Horvath convinces Miller that saving Ryan might be the only decent thing that they're going to accomplish during the war, so Miller takes command of Ryan's group, is the only officer present, and prepares the soldiers for a German assault. Jackson and Horvath get killed, and Upham stands paralyzed with fear when Melch gets stabbed to death. Then Steamboat Willie returns and shoots Miller, though. Yeah, the German soldier that they spared, he shows up, they're ready for payback for almost killing him, and he shoots Miller. He pretty much took gratitude to the soldiers making Miller spare him, so he showed up and he shot Miller before reinforcements arrive and they defeat the Germans, and Upham confronts Willie. Willie wants to surrender again, but because he blew his second chance, Upham kills him. And then Upham and Reuben observe a mortally wounded Miller, and Miller tells Ryan during the sacrifices made to send him home. And then after that, as Miller then dies a very heartbreaking death, a very well-acted death scene from Tom Hanks, we get back to the present day scene that started off the film. So we get back to the grave at the cemetery where Ryan and his family are still visiting. And elderly Ryan gives a speech that he remembers Miller's words every day. He lived the life the best he could, and he hopes that he has earned their sacrifices. And then it pans away to the flag you saw at the beginning of the film. And that's how Saving Private Ryan beautifully ends. By the end of the final battle, the only ones who ended up surviving were Upham, Reuben, and Ryan, who were the only main characters. And the latter 2 had to witness Captain Miller's death, who pretty much went out on a very heroic thing by saving Ryan and completing his team's mission. Ryan finally gets to go home and live a full life, returns to his mother off screen, but he is still haunted by the urge of sacrifice, and wonders whether his life was worth it. In the end, it's a very heartbreaking but also beautiful way to end this very tragic film. This tragic masterpiece. And a very tragic real life event too. Now, do I have any bad qualities with the film? No, I don't. I don't have a single bad quality in any way, because Saving Private Ryan is a very flawless film. It's a flawless masterpiece start to finish. I don't see anything wrong with this movie at all. I think it's terrific. It's terrifically amazing. It's one of Spielberg's best films yet. In fact, I think I'd have to probably tie this one in the top 3. Yeah, I think this would easily be in the top 3 best Spielberg films for me. And it's one of the greatest movies ever made. And you can see why it's made such an impact on the audiences to this day. So yeah, Saving Private Ryan, it's a beautiful film from start to finish. And if you're looking for a perfect war film to watch, you should definitely watch this if you have not watched this movie yet. So in the end, yeah, Saving Private Ryan is totally worth watching and buying. It's easily another good Spielberg gem that you will totally be moved and haunted by, as it does great in showing the horrors of war. Anyways, that's it for my review of Saving Private Ryan. If you want to rate Saving Private Ryan, here's how I'm going to rate this movie. So overall, I would totally watch it by Saving Private Ryan for your collection for sure, no doubt, because this is a movie that totally captures the horrors of war very well, from Spielberg's great direction. And if you want to rate Saving Private Ryan, I'm going to give Saving Private Ryan a damn 10 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. That officially wraps up the review for Saving Private Ryan. Now I want to know in the comments down below what you guys think about Saving Private Ryan in the comments down below. And until then, that will be it for this review. Thank you all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to Don G. Corleone.